Have you ever wondered why so many cultures have a flood myth? It's almost like they all got together and decided, let's make water the star of our biggest stories. Today we're diving into these myths, exploring why cultures from all over the world have their own versions of a great deluge. Why is the flood such a universal theme? Flood myths are more than just tales of water woes. They're stories of survival, renewal, and divine intervention. These myths serve as a reflection of the societies that created them. They encapsulate the fears, hopes, and values of people from different eras. By exploring these stories, we get a glimpse into the collective psyche of ancient civilizations. They reveal how ancient cultures understood and explained natural disasters. The idea of a great flood must have been terrifying to our ancestors. Were these myths just a way for them to make sense of the chaos around them and to find hope in the possibility of a fresh start? Whether you're a fan of mythology, history, or just good storytelling, stick around because there's a lot to uncover. Let's start with the Hindu myth. The story goes that Manu, the first ever man, was warned by a fish. No ordinary fish, but an avatar of the god Vishnu. This fish told Manu about a catastrophic flood that would destroy all life. Manu built a giant boat, and with the help of the fish, survived the flood and repopulated the earth. Think about it. A divine warning, a great flood, and a new beginning. It's like a cosmic reboot. But here's a fun fact. Manu's fish grew so large that it had to be released into the ocean. Manu's story isn't just about survival. It's about obedience, trust, and the idea that life can start anew even after utter devastation. It's also about the interconnectedness of life and the divine. The fish symbolizes divine intervention and guidance, and its transformation underscores the Hindu belief in the divine presence in all aspects of life, from the mundane to the miraculous. But why a fish, you might ask? In Hindu culture, water and aquatic life have significant spiritual symbolism. Water is seen as a purifier, a force of renewal. The fish navigating through this element represents the guiding force that helps humanity navigate through the turbulent waters of life. This myth also highlights the concept of dharma, or duty. Manu's adherence to the fish's warning and his subsequent actions reflect the importance of duty and righteousness in Hindu philosophy. By fulfilling his duty, Manu ensures the survival and continuity of life. Moreover, the Hindu flood myth emphasizes the cyclical nature of time and existence, a key concept in Hinduism. The flood represents both an end and a new beginning, illustrating the idea that life and the universe are constantly being renewed and regenerated. Now let's sail across the seas to ancient Mesopotamia, where we find the Epic of Gilgamesh. Here we meet Utnapishtim, who, much like Manu, was warned of an impending flood by the god Ea. Ea told Utnapishtim to build a huge boat, big enough to carry his family, his animals, and all the craftspeople of his village. He followed Ea's instructions precisely. When the boat was finished, he loaded it with all kinds of animals, birds, cattle, and wild beasts. He also brought on board his family and the craftsmen. Soon, dark clouds gathered, and the rain began to pour down. The floodwaters rose higher and higher, covering everything in their path. Utnapishtim's boat was lifted by the waiters and floated safely while the storm raged on. On the seventh day, the storm ceased and the waters began to recede. The gods, seeing Utnapishtim's faithfulness and wisdom, granted him and his wife immortality. Next, we turn to the Bible, which tells the story of Noah's Ark. Noah was a righteous man who lived in a world filled with wickedness. God saw the evil in the hearts of people and decided to cleanse the earth with a great flood. He chose Noah to build an ark and save himself, his family, and pairs of every kind of animal. God gave Noah precise instructions on how to build the ark. When the ark was completed, Noah gathered his family, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives, and brought them aboard. They also brought pairs of every animal: lions, elephants, birds, and insects, each entering the ark 2 by 2. Once everyone was inside, God shut the door of the ark. Then the heavens opened and rain poured down for 40 days and 40 nights. After the rain stopped, the floodwaters slowly began to recede. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah and his family left the ark and set all the animals free. God placed a rainbow in the sky as a sign of his promise never to destroy the earth with a flood again. Even in Greek mythology, there's the tale of Deucalion and Pyrrha. Deucalion was the son of Prometheus, the titan who gave fire to humanity. One day, Zeus, the king of the gods, decided to punish humanity for their wickedness. He sent a great flood to cleanse the earth. Prometheus, who loved his son, warned Deucalion about the impending flood. He instructed Deucalion to build a chest or small ark to survive the deluge. When the flood waters began to rise, they clambered inside and sealed the door. For 9 days and 9 nights, Deucalion and Pyrrha floated on the turbulent waters. Finally, the waters began to recede, and their chest came to rest on Mount Parnassus. Grateful to have survived, they offered prayers and sacrifices to Zeus. They were alone in a world washed clean by the flood. So what's the deal with these flood stories? Why do so many cultures have them? Some scholars believe they might stem from real historical events, massive floods that left a lasting impression on early human societies. Others see them as symbolic tales of renewal and purification. These myths show how interconnected our ancient cultures were. Even without the internet, stories and ideas flowed like rivers between civilizations, shaping our shared human experience. It's fascinating to think about how a Mesopotamian myth could find echoes in Hindu and Greek traditions. But beyond the historical and symbolic interpretations, these myths also reflect a common human experience, the fear of natural disasters and the hope for renewal. They show us that regardless of where we come from, we all share similar concerns and aspirations. They reveal the values and beliefs of the cultures that created them. In Hinduism, the story emphasizes obedience to divine will and the promise of renewal. In Mesopotamia, it reflects the relationship between humans and their gods, marked by both reverence and fear. In the Bible, it highlights the themes of divine judgment and mercy. These stories also raise interesting questions about human resilience. How do we rebuild after disaster strikes? What role does faith play in our recovery? These are questions that are still relevant today as we face our own modern challenges. Comparing these myths also helps us understand the cultural exchanges and influences that shaped ancient civilizations. Trade routes, conquests, and migrations facilitated the spread of stories and ideas, leading to the shared motifs we see in these flood myths. This interconnectedness is a testament to the rich tapestry of human history and the ways in which our ancestors sought to make sense of their world. Fast forward to today, and these flood myths continue to inspire us. They've been retold in movies, books, and even video games. But what if these stories are more than just myths? What if they hold clues to our past, waiting to be discovered? Modern science has started to uncover evidence that might explain these ancient tales. Geological findings, for instance, suggest that massive floods did occur in various parts of the world during ancient times. These natural events could have been the inspiration for the flood myths that have been passed down through generations. Let's look at one example, the Black Sea Deluge hypothesis. Scientists believe that around 7,600 years ago, the rising Mediterranean Sea spilled over a rocky barrier, flooding what was then a freshwater lake and transforming it into the salty Black Sea. This catastrophic event could have been one of the inspirations for the flood stories in the surrounding regions. Similarly, sediment layers and fossil records in various parts of the world indicate that large-scale flooding events were not uncommon. For instance, in North America, the end of the last ice age saw the release of massive glacial lakes, resulting in catastrophic floods that reshaped landscapes. Some researchers, like Graham Hancock, propose even more intriguing theories. Hancock suggests that advanced prehistoric civilizations might have existed and were destroyed by global cataclysms, including massive floods. According to Hancock, ancient myths and architectural ruins may hold evidence of these lost civilizations, indicating that humanity's history is far older and more complex than we currently understand. These findings provide a scientific basis for the flood myths, suggesting that our ancestors were documenting real, albeit exaggerated events. But here's the real teaser. What if there are other lost civilizations buried under the sea, waiting to be discovered? Stories of lost continents like Atlantis and Dwaraka captivate our imagination and hint at the possibility that entire advanced societies might have been submerged and forgotten over millennia. Join us in our next video as we dive into the mysteries of lost continents, exploring the legends of Atlantis and Dwaraka. Could these mythical lands have actually existed? What does modern science say about their potential reality? Stay tuned, because the truth might just be wilder than the myth.